If you're cruising from Barcelona, don't overlook the days pre and post cruise. These days could be the secret to helping your cruise go smoother. In this video, I'm going to share with you some ways that you can make an enjoyable time of a stay in Barcelona. I'm going to walk you through where we stayed, how we got around, what we chose to do on our limited time, and I'll even give you some links to our hotel. I'll give you some packing tips and cruise essentials. I do have complete videos of all of that down in the description below. Who am I? I'm Karen from Sapphire Travel, and along with my husband Phil, we're a couple from Australia who share real-world travel experiences. We're open about the lessons that we learn and any tips that we learn along the way to help other couples travel brilliantly their way. Have you heard stories, or have you ever flown in to a new port town the day of embarkation and had the stress of having to get to the airport, the threat of flights being cancelled? Here's quickly 3 reasons why I wouldn't suggest flying in the day of embarkation. Your flights might be delayed or cancelled altogether, and then you run the risk of completely missing your cruise or getting there very last minute and being quite frazzled and stressed. It will make that first day more tiring and frazzling than it probably needs to be, regardless of whether your flight is cancelled or not. Just that get to the airport, get on a flight, get from the airport to the port, all of that is added stress. And basically, you could be missing out on exploring a little bit deeper a world-class destination, or even just a lovely little port town with a bit more time and possibly a few less crowds. The flip side of all of those negative things are the positives of arriving at a port the night before, or even giving yourselves a couple of days. You have space if there is a cancellation or a delay on your flight. You're not going to be quite so stressed about missing a cruise or just trying to get there in general. You've got a chance to explore that world-class destination, and quite frankly, it gives you time to recover from that travel day. For us, to get to Barcelona, it's a 29-hour travel day. For many others, I know it might only be even 8 or 9 hours, but that's still a long travel day before you start your cruise. So if you give yourself some breathing space, you've got time to recover from your flight, and then you've also got a little bit of a time to explore the destination that you're starting your cruise in. Pre-cruise, we chose to stay at Hostella Europa, just off the La Rambla in the Gothic Quarter. This was a great location for ease of access. So we concentrated those couple of days around the Gothic Quarter and just the La Rambla and that area in general. But we wanted to keep it so that it was a relaxed, easy start to the trip. And quite frankly, our first day did not go as planned because of jet lag, and we were able to write off our plans for that afternoon, go and have a rest and make it a little bit easier on ourselves. So don't be afraid to make the most of the time you've got. And if you've got that extra time, then you can go, okay, we're going to forfeit our plans for today. We're going to find somewhere to take it easy, let our bodies recover and start afresh the next day. So we love that little budget hotel. It was under renovation, so we got a good price. I have noticed the prices have gone up a little bit, but somewhere around that Gothic area, La Rambla area, was a great place to be based. Post-cruise, we chose to stay at a little bit more of a boutique-y type accommodation. It was still reasonably priced, and we stayed in the Eixample area. That is where a lot of Gaudi and that modernista architecture is abundant. And we stayed in a B&B called the Conica Deluxe B&B, and it was in a great location. It was a slightly longer walk to get to public transport, but in saying that, it was only like 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what station you were heading to. And there were the tourist areas, and you could get into a bit more of a local feel within easy walk of that accommodation. If you'd like to see that accommodation, check out the links down in the description below. Have any of you cruised from Barcelona in the past? Did you fly in the day of the cruise or give yourself some time? What were your favourite things to do pre and post cruise to help get the most out of your trip? Or are you planning to go to Barcelona and have any questions? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Getting from the airport to the city is really quite easy, and you've got a couple of options. You've got the metro, taxi, private transfer, or our chosen method of transportation, the Aerobus. And it was about a 30-minute ride from the airport directly to the Plaça Catalunya right near the La Rambla. So it was an easy thing for us. We didn't have to think about changing trains or where we were coming out. We forgot to turn our SIM on at the airport, so that's a tip for you. If you do pre-buy an eSIM, make sure you turn it on where you've got internet access at the airport, so you don't land at your destination and get out into the open and not be able to turn it on. And then to get from the port to the city, there is a port bus that you can catch, and we walked down to pick that up, and that drops you right at the cruise terminal that you are departing from, so that you can just board your cruise from there. Now, it is technically possible to walk from the city to the cruise terminal, but you do have to walk right next to a very busy road. So if you've got lots of luggage or children with you, it might not be something you want to do. And of course you can do taxis. When we disembarked our cruise, we actually got a taxi to our second accommodation because we didn't quite know where it was going to be. Getting around the city is so easy. It is a very walkable city, especially if you were to catch the metro system and get to a destination and you had a couple of attractions that you wanted to see in that area. It is quite possible to do that. It's really, really walkable. What are a few things that you could do if you had limited time in Barcelona? I've already sung the praises of the Gothic Quarter. Go to Barcelona Cathedral. Absolutely stunning. We went there to see the geese in the cloister. Honestly, the rooftop with its 360-degree vantage points over the city, the actual inside of the cathedral itself were both spectacular. So you could easily spend half a day to a full day just wandering around there, finding some squares to sit and have coffee, visiting the markets. In the Eixample area, if you're into architecture, you've got all the Gaudi buildings, and we actually managed to see 3 this visit, and that was quite easy. A lot of those, especially if you go in peak times, you do need to pre-book your time slot to go in. Those really popular ones like the Sagrada Familia and the Casa Balto tend to book out, so book in as soon as you know that that's something that you want to prioritise. We also went up to Montjuic. We caught the funicular and then the bus up to the castle, had a wander around the castle. There's not a lot up there, but there's some great views. And then we walked our way back down to the Montjuic funicular station. But near that is the diving pool and the Olympic pool from the 1992 Olympics. So we had a lovely afternoon snack overlooking the diving pool and then over into Barcelona. We did some great day trips on the back end of our trip. Santa de Anoia, which was part of in the Cava region, and we wandered around the town, went to a couple of Cava houses. Cava is Spain's sparkling wine, and that was a lovely day. And the other day we went to, if you're into Roman history, is the town of Tarragona. Tarragona was the Roman capital for Spain and Portugal, and it has lots of Roman ruins around. We went on a Monday. The ruin sites, they're all closed, but we found that that didn't diminish our day. If anything, it made our day a little bit more relaxed, and we weren't trying to cram in those extra visits, and you can see a lot of them from the street anyway and get a bit of a feel. Another thing we've done on a previous visit to Barcelona was we booked a half-day tour to Montserrat, which is outside of Barcelona. It's a monastery, and we booked that through Viator, and I've got a link down in the description below if you'd like to check that out. If you've been around here for very long at all, you know that we for overseas trips particularly are really focusing on trying to pack light. Now, my little thing is I pack light for the on-ground experience. It's not about the airline weight. And for this February winter trip, we did really well. And it's been a learning curve, but you can pack light and it does make getting around on the ground easier, especially if you have hotel changes. Why do we think it's worth giving a little bit of time pre and post cruise in a place like Barcelona? The obvious one is Barcelona is a massive city on its own and is worth some time. But for us personally, flying from Australia, we did not want to fly on these massive long haul flights, arrive the day of our cruise, get on board, be exhausted, do the 7 days on the cruise and then fly home. It's a long way to go for such a short time. And I must admit, we got the balance right this time. We did a shorter trip than we would usually want to do. We managed to get it so that it was an enjoyable length of time. And it just gave us room to breathe and room to enjoy Barcelona. It set us up to be ready for the cruise and not to be still recovering from the intense parts of jet lag. If you enjoyed this video, why not hit the subscribe button? We've got plenty of more real life travel stories to come. As always, thanks for joining us. Travel brilliantly. Bye.